Hi guys, aloha talofa and and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kanani, Lokelani into Kahanui Asuega, and I am your favorite YouTuber. I'm your favorite Polynesian dancer here on YouTube. Whatever, that's the intro you're gonna get today, because this video, I just wanted it to kind of be, me talking. I was driving here to the studio. I have class in about like 20 minutes, and I just felt this want and this need to turn on the camera and start talking. I've recently been heavily inspired by some of my favorite YouTubers and some of my favorite content creators on how they're just kind of sharing their life, just being normal human beings without the filter, without the editing, without all of that stuff. And genuinely, I'm not the most like put together person. So all of my edits and things like that, like editing videos and things like that, it's like fun and I love it or whatever. But like my actual personality is quite unedited, quite crazy, very spur of the moment. I'm naturally very loud. I'm naturally very just like whatever, I often make mistakes. I'm a huge, I'm not a do-gooder all the time. I just kind of be running with things, and my personality is much more chaotic than maybe I give out. Or if I'm chaotic on the internet and you could tell, then that's cool too. I prefer that. But I wanted to jump on this like whole, raw footage type of trend, and because it's more of where my brain sits. Anyway, so here we are, and some of the things that have been on my mind lately, because I started my new classes, I started my new courses. If you don't know what I'm talking about, links in the bio, kananilokelani.com, you can go look at that. And I was like tripping out because kind of like what I've built here, to be honest. I've been kind of just like, wow, I can't believe I actually did this. I can't believe like I have my online presence. I can't believe I have created a whole business online and it's going well. Come September, it's already been a year since I started teaching online, but come at the end of September, it'll be about a year since I started like my heavier classes, where I was like commitment classes, not just like one-time workshops or like tester workshops, like things that I was like, this is my business. It started at the end of September about a year ago. And I've just like kind of been in this mental space of like, oh my God, how did you get here? Like, how did this happen? Literally, it just fell into my hands. But at the same time, like, I was like, did it fall into my hands? Because I worked my ass off to like do a lot of the things that I have right now. And I wanted to explain that and kind of like share where I've been at. There's a creator named Victoria Paris. Probably everybody in the whole world is freaking talking about her, but she talks about how she came into social media, and I was like, oh my gosh, same. But basically a little bit about me when it came to like social media and my presence. I want to talk about social media pretty much this whole video. So if you're interested, keep on watching. But anyway, so for social media, I was about 15 or 16 years old in my mom's dance studio. We were just, going through a transition period. We needed more numbers in our studio to, just keep it going and keep it alive. And I was about at the time 15 or 16, and my mom had me teach, and I was like getting really invested into the studio. I started competing more in competitions. I was just like finally choosing that dance was going to be my after school program, my morning program, my weekend event, like everything. Dance was everything by that time. I was that age. And so I was just I remember being young and just being extremely motivated to come up with so many unique ideas for the studio. I remember thinking about choreography and costumes and show ideas, and just like every corner of a dance studio or a dance group or, everything that we do, my brain was just like ready. Like I had so many ideas. And then I was like, how do we have these ideas come to fruition? Like it was either obviously what happens in the studio, training the dancers, getting the dancers to be on the same page and everything like that. But also I was like, we need more dancers in the studio. We need more opportunities and shows. We just need to like revamp ourselves. My parents have ran a very successful dance studio and entertainment company for the last like 30 years. And around the time, it was like 2000, what year was it? Maybe 2013, 2014. And I started to become a little bit more in charge. And it was a new day and age. Social media was growing, and I was like, we need to use social media. And even at that time, social media still wasn't like Instagram was not just starting to blow up, but it wasn't like, we didn't really have influencers yet around that time. And we did, but it wasn't really a thing that it is now. So anyway, I was like, we need to use Instagram. And so I started posting my own dancing on my public Instagram. And I started sharing like what I think about dancing. I started to share my perspective on dancing. I started to share my creations. And at the time, again, like on Instagram, these things weren't happening. And I'm not saying I was the first dancer or Tahitian dancer to do it. Don't even know if there was a first type of thing. But like, I remember being one of the ones in our community that was very forthcoming with everything that I did creatively when it came to dance, and everything I felt and everything I documented. I documented practices, behind the scenes, like everything. I was sharing videos of me teaching and me explaining details about dance and things like that, because I knew that at that time, if you want someone to come into your business, you have to gain trust from your viewers, you have to gain trust from your customers. And so the only way I could do that was being honest about what we were teaching at the studio, whether it was behind the scenes of a show or anything like that. I'm kind of repeating myself, but I remember realizing that at a very young age, that people need to trust you in order for them to follow you or to believe in you or to purchase your classes or purchase your item or business or whatever it may be. Same thing goes for other businesses. And so at like 16, I took over my parents' dance studio Instagram, but I used my Instagram to get everybody to go to my parents' Instagram, because my Instagram was already starting to blow up. Okay, by the way, I had like 5,000 followers at the time, but that was a lot of people. Like, that's a lot of people to be looking at your stuff, especially in the dance community, which was so small and so new to social media. There was only a few of us that were gaining these types of numbers. And so moving on, I'm like graduating high school, and we come into I'm like graduating high school, and I get my first job. I get my first luau job, and I moved to Okinawa for 6 months. I have a job there. It's amazing. I'm learning what it's like to be a dancer. I'm realizing that on my trip in Okinawa, I didn't want to be a show dancer. I wanted to create the show. And just all of these things in my life were kind of leading me to be a leader. I was like, I don't think I belong in line as much as I do belong behind the stage on a creative level or in a like boss level. Like, I just like couldn't be someone's employee. It's a blessing and a curse to have that idea in your mind, but yeah, anyway, I couldn't like be someone's employee. So moving on, I come home from Okinawa, and I get my first call from an old dancer that used to dance with us, and she asked me to come to London and teach a series of workshops, me and my mom. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this my next step? I thought I was gonna be a dancer, not a dance teacher or a dance instructor or anything. I thought I was gonna come home from Okinawa, maybe go back to school, but maybe try to find a job in Hawaii as a luau dancer, because I didn't ever think of myself as a teacher, nor did I think that like I was the type of person that people would take workshops from. Like, you take workshops from like, not 20-year-old me. You take them from like masters that have spent their lives doing this, right? And so that boost of confidence that I got from my first workshop was like, wow, it was crazy. And then I got a little high marks. Yeah, I got a little high marks. I was like, I'm a business owner and things like that, which I was in a sense, but it wasn't anything like I am now. And so moving on from there, I do my first workshops in London. And then when I come home, I have a series of competitions that I have to do because I want to make it to this large competition called the Unedited Nui Championship. And it was happening in 2018. I was going to go. So I'm doing all these workshops in London, helping out this one group, or not really helping out, but, like collaborating, being with, loving, and, that's a family. That's my family. And, I come home from London and like I'm getting all these other workshops. Like, other people are like realizing that, I don't know, not realizing or just like noticing me as something more than like little Lokelani in the dance community. They're noticing me as an individual and not as my parents' daughter, because my parents are huge people in our community as well. And so it was like such a cool shift, and it was very interesting. And so I came home from Okinawa, made it to London, came home from London and went to, that's how it happened. Came home from London, and then I went to a competition in Tahiti, and I had taken, I took second place, and in that trip, I got invited to come back to Tahiti. Mind you, I don't have a job at this point. I don't have the resources to be traveling to Tahiti. My parents, I'm not gonna ask my parents for them to pay for my life in Tahiti either. And so the only thing I knew how to do was teach dance workshops. And so I used, you know, what my family had built to back me up. And then me taking second place at this competition, me already having experience in London as a teacher, just like these two things kind of, you know, put me in a position to be able to teach workshops, or to be trusted to teach workshops. And also at that time, my social media presence was getting larger and getting larger and getting larger, excuse me. And I had a lot of young girls that were looking up to me, and those are the people that take workshops, you know? And those are the people where that young girl's gonna go to their mom like, Mom, like Kanani's having a workshop, can I go meet her? Can I go teach that workshop and stuff like that? I'm not trying to make myself sound like a freaking celebrity. I'm just being honest about how it went. And I wasn't ready for stuff like that. I didn't know that that was gonna be like that either. And so I'm running fundraising workshops. All the money that I made in workshops took me to Tahiti. And so then I went to Tahiti. Coming home from Tahiti, oh my gosh, coming home from Tahiti, I even had more confidence. I started creating more projects that were deeper meaning. I started reading stories. I was getting my mom's dance studio ready for things. And I was like, literally full force, a creative director, lead dancer, lead instructor, that whole thing. Come 2019, I take Ori Tahiti Nui Championship. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, I won a large title. And ever since that moment happened, all of my workshops kind of fell into my lap. But no one would have known that I was capable of running workshops if it wasn't for my presence on social media. So here we are. So I get all these jobs, and now I make my Instagram, my work Instagram, which is kananilokelani workshops. Go check it out. And on that Instagram, I was very meticulous about what I was doing, just as much as I was on my personal Instagram. When I used to promote my parents' dance studio, I was very meticulous. I was making sure that these people were going to trust me, that they believed in me. I was very honest and very vulnerable and very just truthful and transparent about all of my dance life. Then I transferred it over into my full-on like brand and business. It was Kananilokelani workshops from then on, and now we're here. It's 2021. And so on that Instagram, I did the same thing. Everything I knew, I would notice what people were into and only post that. I was like taking in account of so many views and where they were coming from and what these people were looking for. I was planning out things. I would always stay after the studio. I would stay after practice. I would teach all night, and then I would stay even longer at the studio so I can get some more content in, so I can get some more videos in. I wouldn't give up. I didn't give up on posting. And I look back at those times, I'm like, oh my gosh, so cute. Like that was such a nice time, because I was just, it's not that I didn't have anything, but I didn't have what I have now when it comes to a career. I had awards, and I had dance classes, and I had experience. But to make my own money and to make my own career, it was this like transition I was going into between like 2019 and now, 2018 and now. And I was like, this is my job, and I want to make money, and I want people to believe in me. And I was like to the point where I was pumping out random workshops. I would get either 60 people to sign up or like 15 people to sign up. And I was like, all right, like, you know what, that's what I'm going to do now. And at that time, online didn't exist yet. So if I ever got a workshop from another studio, like one that I didn't put on myself, like I can put on dance classes for myself and be like, hi, I'm teaching these days, like come and visit. But I was really trying to get people to invite me to their country and things like that. I really wanted those workshops. But those workshops came about 3 times a year. Grateful, don't get me wrong, 3 to 4 times a year. Mind you, that's like not money to survive. That's money to be, all of the money I made went back into what I was doing. I would make money, and then I would put all that money back into the next competition, the next trip to compete, the next trip to do everything. Like literally my money was being recycled within the same thing. I didn't have anything in my savings. I didn't have anything to own. And man, it was like just so crazy to like go through all of that. Excuse me, let me check the time, because oh shoot, I have like 5 minutes. And so yeah, so now I'm here. It's 2021. We are in a pandemic. It's a whole thing. And my friend had me teach an online class. And ever since my friend taught me that online class, I was like, okay, I guess I can do this. I bought a new computer. I figured out a whole new website. I've like created all these things for myself. I'm so proud of myself. And now I have like a full-on running business. Like this is actually a career for me now. And I don't know if I would have ever gotten there if it wasn't for like my vulnerability at such a young age. Like if I was starting this career now, oh Lord, my woman wobbles would be no kind. They'd be like non-existent. Like if I had to start from scratch now without all of that like innocent motivation, without knowledge of the world, like now I'm like, oh my gosh, people are watching. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, people see me, people hear me, people are actually listening. Back then, even if people listened to me, I like had no recollection that I was even important to anybody. And kind of until like the pandemic, I still like in my head was just typing not aimlessly, I was typing all of my captions, I was editing my videos with hope, but I didn't recognize the success that it was. And then when I would go out into public, I've ran into people who know who I am off of Instagram in all parts of the world. People like random place. I went to a restaurant when I was at home the other day and someone came up to me and was like, Kanani, oh my God, I follow you, this and that. I've seen people in, when I go to all my workshops, like obviously these people follow me, but like on my perspective, I'm like just dancing. I'm just trying to have a career. I'm just trying to promote my parents' dance studio. I'm just trying to put like food and like a roof over my head. Like I don't think that I'm this person, and I am. And it's not that I don't hate it. I'm just more so like, oh my God, I'm not invisible like I think I am and I want to be. And it's a really big like disassociation would probably be the best word, or disconnection that I have of like who I am, like as I'm sitting here and staring at my own face and my camera, and then who I am on social media. They're very much the same person, don't get me wrong, but I have to remember that. Like I have to remind myself that I've put my whole life out there, and that when I go into social settings, people think they know who I am. Of course, I know you think you know who I am, and you guys do to some extent, but like it didn't click in my head until kind of like recently. Anyway, so now we're here, and in social media, I want to make these videos where I'm very honest, very raw and transparent, but I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of saying the wrong thing. It's 2021, and low-key, I know you know what I mean, but you never know what you can say anymore. I've learned, like I've stopped talking, I've stopped like expressing myself because I'm so afraid of offending somebody. And that's genuine, that's not a complaint. But it's kind of put me in a place where I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what to say anymore, you know? I don't know. But with all of that said, what I wanted to do in this video was explain how I got here and where it's taking me, what I'm grateful for and what I'm still a little bit afraid of. And so when it comes to social media, what I don't want to do, and I kind of felt like I was going there, which is why this video is being made, what I don't want to do is put a picture out there that isn't the fullest truth. I don't want to make myself look like I'm just this, you know, perfect dancer who works really hard and I don't know, whatever. Like I make mistakes often. A lot of my students even know I'm very chaotic. Like when you start taking my dance classes, I think that's when you really get to know me, because I'm wild, I'm chaotic and things like that. I make mistakes. Humans make mistakes. I'm consistently growing as a human being and things like that. And if you're on social media and you are motivated to have your own business, if you're motivated to start your own career and social media kind of is involved in that, then, you know, just be careful and just make sure you always remember who you are in each post. Like each post you make and post, make sure that you are writing words that are true to your heart. Make sure when you're editing the video, you can still see yourself. Don't make yourself look like somebody that you're not. And I felt like I could have done that a few times, and I might have already done it, and I just don't really remember it. If I go through my posts, I could probably be like, oh my God, did you mean that? Or like, that's not really you, and stuff like that. And I am not saying I did that a lot, but the reason why is because I'm very conscious of myself. I'm very self-aware for the most part, you know. There's always more I can learn about myself. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of it. I wanted to explain how I use my social media and how I got there. And I don't know, this video was random. It's 20 minutes long. I hope you're gonna watch it. I'm just gonna post it nice and raw. I don't know if it's gonna be up forever. I don't know if anybody can relate to this. And if you cannot, don't make me feel like I'm like unrelatable and this like crazy person who's extremely privileged. I recognize my privilege when it comes to a lot of things. I wouldn't have what I have if it wasn't for my parents' dance studio that had already existed. One really close person to me had mentioned that they didn't work for everything necessarily because they were in a family business and they were given everything, and from everything that they were given, and then they created all these beautiful things. And that's kind of where I am. So I know there's a lot of dancers who want to do what I do. I know there's a lot of people who look at me and are like, how did you do that? Like, is it possible for anybody? I don't know. There's not a lot of people that are doing what I do. There's a small handful of us, but if you work hard, if you're true to yourself, if you consistently know your goals and know how to get there in a very patient manner, then I think anything is possible. Just be a good person. And yeah, I don't even know if I want to watch this video back, but I hope you enjoyed it. I gotta go teach class now. And have a beautiful day. Remember to stay humble. Remember to be there for your loved ones. Make sure to always check on your friends, check on your family. Go do something for somebody. You know, if you're a very selfless person, don't forget to do something for yourself as well. If you're a very selfish person, get your ass up and go do something for somebody. I know you don't mean to be selfish in a harmful way, but it's really good for your own spirit and your loved ones when you go do something nice for somebody. Anyway, a lot of thoughts. Let's do this again. Peace out, homies.